Hey guys, I'm Devin Harrington, the Average Gen Xer. Welcome to my channel. So I've had the idea for this channel to kind of kicking around in my head for, I don't know, a couple of years. And the time comes where you just have to stop thinking about it and just do it. So here we are. So this is my first video. And I just wanted to say hi. Hello YouTube, and tell you who I am and why I'm the Average Gen Xer and what I want to talk about on this channel. So I am originally from Lawrence, Massachusetts, which makes me New England by work ethic and masshole by attitude. But I've lived in the Austin, Texas area for 24 years, 25 years, and I still don't get to be a Texan. So, why am I the Average Gen Xer? I spent my early life trying, like many Gen Xers, to be extraordinary, to live a life less ordinary. We were pretty much the first generation of people who had the free time and the freedom to just not have to follow society's traditional rules, since our parents, the boomers, already had gone through the countercultural revolution. And so by the time we came along, women weren't really expected to get married and have babies, so you could, pursue your own life if you wanted to. And I'm saying this all obviously as a very broad generalization. So what the fuck was I talking about? Anyway, Gen X is broadly defined as people born between 1960 and 1980. And I was born right in the middle of that in 1970. And so I'm the average. And a few other things. I am about 5'4.5", currently around 165 pounds, which makes me the average American woman. I am also a typical Gen Xer in that I was a latchkey kid. If you don't know what that is, that means you walked to and from school by yourself with a house key on a shoelace around your neck because your parents were likely divorced and had to work, which was the case in my life. I am the oldest child, and when my mother had my twin brothers, they are twins. When I was about 4.5, I was immediately parentified, like many Gen Xers have been. And so, and then she had my youngest brother when I was 11. And I had way too much of a hand in helping to raise those 3 younger siblings of mine, which cured me of ever wanting anything to do with children of my own. Although I do have lots of fur babies. And there's other reasons why, but that gives you a general idea. I am your basic bitch of the Gen X generation. So what do I want to talk about on this channel? I have not owned a television probably in 15 years. Since streaming became a thing. I gave up my TV and I would just stream stuff on my laptop. And then I decided that I would get rid of my streaming services, all of them. And so, because I'm from New England, where the puritanical influence is still very strong, and you New Englanders have a ridiculous work ethic, and I really felt like sitting around watching anything is just kind of a waste of time when I could be being productive. But like many people, I like to have something on in the background while I'm puttering around the house. So I started getting into watching YouTube all the time. I have a work from home job for the past 5+ years, and I always have my headphones on in case the phone rings, and so I would have YouTube stuff on the phone, and I have collected, I would say, probably about a dozen creators that I really enjoy and am inspired by. And one of the topics that I really like watching is child-free content. There's actually a whole movement now of people like me who never wanted kids and don't understand why people would burden themselves that way. And I'm glad to find out that, you know, there's more of me, like-minded people like me out there. So I do want to talk about some child-free stuff. I'm going to be reading some regretful parents Reddit posts on this channel because they are just fucking tragic, and they are generally posted by people who are on the fence about having kids and were pressured by family and societal expectations into having children, and they hate their lives. And so I want to talk about that. And then I fell down the fat acceptance cringe rabbit hole, rabbit warren. And I have quite a few content creators that I watch regularly, that some are funny, some are more into fitness, some are you know, have had their own weight loss struggles. I myself have been medically obese. I've never been hugely obese, but I got up over 200 pounds, which, as I said, I'm 5'4.5", so I'm not a really tall person. And for a woman to weigh over 200 pounds, I could not believe how difficult it made my life. I mean, just bending over to tie my shoes, the visceral fat in my abdomen was like crushing my lungs. I would get winded tying my shoes. And that's at like 205 pounds. I think that was my top weight. And I'm now at like 165. So I'm getting closer to my goal. Anyway, if you don't know about the fat acceptance movement, there are a lot of younger people, and I'm now old enough that I can say younger people, people in their 20s, people in their 30s even, who are far, far heavier than I ever was. And they have no interest in losing weight, and they glorify being fat. And it seems to be coming out of, you know, in the 80s when I was a kid, I was like 20 pounds overweight. I come from a family of women who are all 20 pounds overweight, and our lives are consumed, or were, you know, back in the day, by trying to lose that 20 pounds. My mom and I did all of the fad diets you can name. I mean, it was part of the culture back then. And that was not good. And I was into things like ballet and competitive horse showing, and the fat shaming that went on just in general back in the 80s was really horrible. And so now the pendulum has swung so far the other way that it's equally as horrible. So instead of people talking about self-love and wanting to love themselves as they are so that they can become better versions of themselves and improve themselves and work on themselves, now it has swung so far that we're into, oh, it doesn't matter what you weigh, you're fine, my labs are fine, so what if I'm 350 pounds, so what if I'm 450 pounds, Tess Holiday is gorgeous and she's got to be pushing 400 now, and so it's fine. And it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And in my opinion, this has all happened because fast food and ultra-processed food is fucking everywhere now. And that was not the case even in the 70s when I was a kid. The Happy Meal came onto the market in 1979 and obviously marketed toward children. And I specifically remember my dad buying me my first Happy Meal, and my fucking brain lit up, and I clearly remember obsessing about when I can get a Happy Meal again, because fast food is not food. It is chemically treated, processed, ultra processed, genetically engineered garbage that is drugs, that is meant to light your brain up and your children's growing brains up so that they crave more and more and more of it and want to eat more and more of it. And that has just become so normalized. So on this channel, I do want to trash fast food and try to convince someone not to eat this garbage anymore, because it is killing us and it is killing the planet. Also in the 70s, high fructose corn syrup became the norm, and soda, blah, blah, blah. So that has just become part of American culture, and it is now spreading across the world. We've all seen shows like My 600-Pound Life and, the shows that are similar to that in Britain. And it's all fast food and ultra-processed food culture that has created this problem. So without going on a huge diatribe, that's something that I want to talk about on this channel. Another thing is, I would probably identify as an atheist as far as spirituality. I mean, I'm certainly a tree-hugging dirt worshiper. I love the change of seasons. I'm probably could be described as pagan, but obviously I'm in the United States, and if you're unaware, the super religious, extremist religious right is trying to take over the United States government, and they're succeeding, and they want to make this a theocracy. And in this country, we are supposed to have not only freedom of religion, where you can worship any damn thing you want, but freedom from religion. And that is where the separation of church and state comes in. And it is crumbling. And that is very disturbing to me. When I was younger, I took completely for granted that if I ever needed to terminate an unwanted pregnancy, that was a right of mine as a U.S. citizen. And that's gone now. And the horror stories coming out since the repeal of Roe v. Wade are like something out of a dystopian novel. Anyway, probably if you're watching this, you already know that. But the wall we need to build is the wall between church and state in this country. So I'm not sure what I want to talk about as far as atheism. I'm not trying to convert anyone to be an atheist, but there's something there to be talked about. And then the last topic that I want to cover, and that kind of goes back to the body positivity movement, and that is self-love. Because I may not be religious, but I do believe in love as the highest vibration in the universe. Self-love, if you love yourself, you want to be the best version of yourself. So all of these TikTok fat acceptance kids have not suffered the consequences of their food habits and their obesity. And we have in the States just a horrible healthcare crisis that's coming. And we have a lot of problems in the States, but one of the biggest problems is that the majority of us are overweight, if not clearly obese, if not morbidly obese. So self-love is something I want to talk about because like a lot of Gen Xers, I grew up with quite a bit of abuse and have been diagnosed with CPTSD and have been on a therapeutic journey most of my adult life. And I really felt like everything started to turn around for me. I mean, not until my 40s, when I really started looking into self-love. So that's all I'll say about that right now. But that is the 4 topics that I want this channel to cover. And I certainly do want to do some TikTok fat acceptance reaction cringe videos because I live for that fucking shit. It's hilarious in a tragic way, and there's so many great content creators out there that keep me entertained watching it. But also some serious stuff too. So if any of that interests you, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.